cold, snowy day. Well, I don't think it's really that cold, but it's a very snowy day. And I'm gonna do a challenge. So I seen another YouTuber, their video yesterday. I'll put their YouTube right here and their video link down below in the description box where I got inspired of doing this. I always see people do 24-hour book-a-thon, but I feel like it's a little late in the day and I don't know if I could commit 24 hours. So they did an 8-hour one. So I was like, oh, I think I could do 8-hour one. So I already... Why did they take my 8-hour away on my stopwatch? So I already made it right here on my iPad. And the books that I will be reading during this 8-hour is Fable the Sawyer. I already read a good majority of it. I'm up to chapter 13 now. I'm in the year 2026 in this book. And I think after that, I think I'm gonna start Honey and Spice. So I don't know how much I'm gonna read in these 8 hours, and also read on my Kindle. I'm reading Creed. It's a urban Black romance. So these 3 books I'll be reading in my 8-hour reads. So we'll just see how much I can read in 8 hours. It is 5 o'clock, so that'd be 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm a late sleeper anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. I want to talk about how I finished this book, The Girls Who Grew Big. I finished it. It was an amazing read. I gave it, I think, a 4.5 on all of my like reading apps. I enjoyed the book so much. It just gave such a good explanation of just the dilemmas of being just a young girl who ended up, you know, getting pregnant at such a young age, and the joy of community, and how Chris/Tooth needs to, but then I don't, because then kids won't have a father, which is Simone's kid. And then when Simone found out that Adela was messing with Tooth, even though I just got annoyed because I feel like she was more upset of Adela messing with Tooth. Like, you're breaking up my family. You're taking the father of my kids away from me. And I'm just like, girl, what are you talking about right now? Because first of all, he's a grown man messing with a child, which he did to you. That's 1. 2, taking away from him. She's taking him away from your kid, their kids, when you know yourself he don't really be there for you and your kids. Even before Adela got in the picture, and then Emery stopped talking to Adela because then she figured out that she was in love with Adela, not in a friendship way, but like in a romantic way. And she was mad at Adela for not being in love with her back and, you know, reciprocating the feelings that she had. But it's like Adela didn't know that you liked her or that you were in love with her. And I just felt so bad because this man took advantage of Adela being in a very vulnerable situation of being new to the town, being completely abandoned by her parents, pregnant, believed that he was the daddy because they slept together once, and he really believed that he was the father of the child. Then he completely was going to cut her off after he found out that kid wasn't his kid, and then went back to her and kept coming back to her because he still likes the power over her regardless if the kid isn't his. It's just so disgusting, like vermin that Tooth is. He is the villain of the book. He is the evil of the book. Also the parents as well in the book, except Noni, which is Adela's grandmother. She's the only real in the entire book. She loved Adela regardless, and she was like, I'm gonna be there for you, da 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 da. Everybody else, adults, like, yuck. Adela ended up wanting to keep her child and told her parents, and her parents was like, well, her dad was like, well, he still was gonna financially support her and her grandmother, but he don't want her to come back to Indiana because, you know, her being pregnant so young is like a stain on their existence and bull crap like that. And And Marie's going to go to college. She got accepted to college in Seattle. So, you know, I'm just happy for her to want to do better for herself, and not just for herself, but for her son Kai. And she did have to tell the baby daddy, Jaden, who is Simone's brother, that she does not want to marry him because he wanted to marry her, but she just knew that that's just not what she wanted. And she felt bad for stringing him along for so long, and he was upset with her for, you know, denying wanting to marry him, even though she said yes. But it's like, sir, you knew that this girl did not want you. She just used you for one thing only. And that was it. Is he an amazing father? Absolutely. I would give him credit for that. Out of all the baby daddies, and well, we don't really hear about a lot of people's baby daddies. Well, mostly like 3, which is Jaden, Tooth, and we don't really hear about Adela's baby daddy because he's all the way in Indiana, and he denies that that's his kid anyway. So like, out of all the ones that are discussed, Jaden's the only one that puts the effort to really want to be there for his child. And I'm gonna give props to that, especially for him to be so young as well. I think he's like fresh 18, you know, and bearing the responsibility is, you know, is great. Simone wants to end up leaving as well, especially after her child, I think it was Luck, got hurt and injured. That, I guess, that changed her perspective. Like, I want more for my kids outside of just living in this area. I want them to explore so much more of the world and the, you know, in the country outside of just this small place. And a lot of people were a little sad about that, like the girls of the group, but they just knew, like, she's been with us so long, and we know that we got this now with her instructions and everything she gave us, and we still have each other even without her. And so yeah, and that's basically how it ended, of just them just thinking about the future and what it potentially holds. So I will come back to y'all when I read a bit of this one. I feel like I'm on chapter 13. I think I'm gonna stop reading this one maybe about chapter 16, because then I'll be up to like 180 pages, and then I'll come back to discuss what I did not get to discuss with y'all that I've read in this book and what's been going on. So see y'all on the flip side, and then I'll let you know how much time I have used reading this one. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do 8 hours or I might do 4 hours. I might do 4 hours. We'll see once I'm done reading this one. People on my phone, we're back. We're at the now 22 hours 55 minutes and 16-second mark. I ended up doing 4-hour readathon. I probably would have been done, but I did stop because my mom wanted to watch John Oliver and me, so we watched 2 episodes of John Oliver together, and then we chatted. So you know how that goes. But I did get up to chapter 16 in this book. I have 9 chapters. Why am I talking so fast? Savannah, slow down. There's 9 chapters left of this book. You may not think that because it looks like I have like such a thick chunk to finish, but I think it's because the chapters are pretty long. But I'm on chapter 16, and I'm in the year 2027 now of this book. So we have our female lead in this book, which is, what is her name? I'm really bad at remembering characters' names. Why am I like this? Why am I like that? I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I'm trying to find the girl's name. I really read more than I thought. I think her name is Lauren. I think her name is Lauren. think I should start writing down this stuff. Let's pause and let me find the name and I'll come back. Why didn't I just look in the back is beyond me, but I was right. Her name is Lauren. So they started vacuuming once I'm going to start speaking. So basically, Lauren lives in a very secluded area of California. She was like in a gated community with her dad, her stepmother, her 3 stepbrothers, and then one that's her full brother. Or I think all of them are her half brothers. And then because she's from another previous relationship the dad had. The dad's a preacher, but he also works in a college. So basically the entire world has went through utter chaos because of climate change and also economic crisis. So where they live is blocked off by this big wall, and it has like wires around it and all that stuff, but people are slowly starting to get through and keep stealing stuff from them. So her dad would teach her and other kids in the community how to basically shoot a gun, and that would, you know, help them to make means to survive. But after one time these thieves broke in, they had to do like night watches, and they'll ring a bell to alert people that people are trying to steal. So her brother Keith, I don't want to drag on too much of like stuff. Oh. Her brother Keith, I think he's younger than her by like 2 years. So the dad is start teach him how to shoot guns, I think about 15, 16. But he is so pressed to want to be a man now, improve himself. So he started sneaking out of the house and going to the outside of the gate where more of the rougher around people that have nothing to lose because they have nothing are at. And then there's this drug called pyro that makes people so infatuated by committing arson and fires. And basically that. So he keeps sneaking out. The dad beats him really, really bad the first time he escaped. Pissed at his father, doesn't want nothing to do with him. He continues to sneak afterwards. It doesn't come back. And he basically tells like the sister Lauren. At first he was kind of like rude to Lauren and Corey, which is the other siblings. Only giving money to his mom. Oh no, Corey's his mom. Not that. To Marcus and Lauren, who are his other half siblings, but he's more inclined to give it to their younger siblings, twins, and his mom Corey. The mom is like, please stay home, please stay home. You know, you're gonna get yourself killed. What happens? He gets killed. Keith. And so the mother is in a disarray about losing her son. Lauren always trying to tell the dad, like, we need a more foolproof plan of like what we're gonna do when our little shelter of bubble no longer sustains for us. The dad's like, we got this, we're good here. They build this place in one part of California called like Oliver, but the dad isn't trusted. He's like, this is just another form of control to us. No, we're gonna stay where we're at. The dad is going missing, never been found. They assume he died, yada yada yada. Then one day the town goes into an uproar because these people who paint themselves because they're high on this drug called pyro, they drove into the gate and broke it. And so they killed a bunch of people in the town, did among other things to certain residents of the town. And Lauren ended up escaping, but she doesn't know if her stepmom or her brothers got to get out, or this guy that she's kind of in a relationship with named Curtis. She doesn't know if they made it. One of the girls who thinks that she says that she saw her mom and her brothers get killed. And so Lauren's like, oh my God. So Zara, this guy named Harry, or her and Lauren are the only people that are basically left in their village or their town or their community. So they're basically like traveling to go to Oregon or Canada, but because there's so much block offs of like borders against these states, it's hard to get in. but they're trying to, because they said like it's better than where they're at now because they have no other choice. So that's basically what's been happening so far in this book. And it's just certain things that they talk about, I'm just like, whoa, that is kind of happening right now in the 2020s. Like, is Octavia Butler kind of a prophet? Like, did she kind of know what was gonna happen? She's not here to see it. Sadly, she passed in 06, but she's kind of a prophet. So that's what I'm up to so far. I will be reading more of this book. I finally feel like I'll be either done by tomorrow or Wednesday, but we shall see. So now I'm gonna go on to reading Honey and Spice now. So fingers crossed that I can actually fully read this book this time. Because like I said, I've been trying to read this book 2-3 times. We'll see how much I can get to read this book in the time that I have left. So I'll be back when I start this book, or when I finish this book. The time has officially finished. I did an entire 4 hours, not straight, but 4 hours of reading. It makes no sense to show you the clock because it's just going to show you my time. But yeah, I completed 4 hours of reading. I did it. I read Honey and Spice. I'm up to exactly 100 pages, actually. Exactly 102 pages. I'm on chapter 9 of 29, so I have 20 chapters. But I'm enjoying it so far. I feel like this straight couple of hours of reading something, even if it's not like straight 4 hours, because I don't think that's realistic, but to do these makes you really focus on the book because you're like being timed. So it makes you really focus on the book because like I want to complete the time, I want to complete this task. So it makes you really focus on the book, and you don't even know that how much you're reading until the time goes off and you're like, wow, I read a lot more than I expected. It is 4 in the morning when I'm completing this challenge because you know, I kept having to do other things, not really distracted by my phone, but I just had other things to do. But it was an exciting snow day of just reading 2 books. I didn't read Creed, but I'm probably gonna read that while I'm laying down in my bed, or read it tomorrow or later on today. But it was exciting to like get so much reading in. I feel like I read more pages in this book than Fable of Sower, but that's perfectly fine. Like I said, you don't know how much time is going by till you're really reading. But so far in this book, we have a female lead, which is Kiki, and the male lead is Malachi. And Kiki owns a radio station called Brown Sugar, or Love Brown Sugar, something like that. Yeah, Brown Sugar, I was right. And this book is definitely based in the UK because they use like a lot of UK lingo, but I think the author is from the UK as well, so it makes sense. They're not like I don't think they, so they're in a school that has like, I think it's predominantly white, but there is like a subset of Black people in the school as well. And so she has the Black people of, they're not like a monolith of them, so she puts them in like certain categories and cliques, kind of like the way that Janine's character, or Janine's character in Mean Girls did. That's basically what she is doing. So she is having, the book basically starts with her waking up after having her little situationship with a guy named Zach. And she, at that point, feels like she doesn't want anything to do with him. She's like, I don't want to sleep with him ever again. I feel like I'm not feeling with him anymore. And he's just very egotistical. Like, he's really in love with himself. And he feels like, why would any woman not want me? You know, why are you denying me? And she's like, I really don't care about your looks, bro. I just don't want to fuck with you no more, literally. And so she meets Malachi the same day that she's sneaking away from leaving, you know, her little situationship. They have this instant connection, but he's going off with another girl in the same building. So she's like, okay, I'm never gonna see this guy again. Like I said, she owns a radio station with her best friend on the school named Amina. And Amina's like, oh my God, the girls are losing their mind on our Instagram right now. Like, they're losing their mind. And Kiki's like, why are they losing their mind? So she's reading the comments. She's like, oh my God, the girls are fighting for one guy. Who could it be? Come to find out, it's Malachi who they're fighting over. So Kiki does a whole segment like, don't let a player play you. You need to play the player. Da, 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 da. So she finally sees him again at a all Black party event that she created called Freaky Fridays. And she sees these two girls that are like two separate cliques fighting, you know, for him. And she's like, oh my God, he really is a player because he got these two girls in two different cliques fighting for him. And basically tells them something and they go calm, they don't go full-fledged fight. She's like, I'm in confusion. What did he do to make that happen? Now back to the guy Zach, he basically tries to push up on her and he'll be like, why don't you want me? And you know, why would you not look at us? Like, we'll be perfect together. And she's like, Zach, I don't really care how good looking you are. I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. Like, let it go. Let it go. But he's like intoxicated because it's his birthday, so he's acting extra. And he's like, I basically, where would you're the type of girl I'll go for anyway. I'm just doing this at like mercy, or it's something like that, he said, or charity. And she's like, okay, like, I really don't care what you ever said. That's not hurting my feelings. You're a dub. It's done. So then she has to go to Malachi, make it out with him, girl. I'm sorry, I'm tired. It is 4 a.m. She goes full makeout session with Malachi. He goes along with it. Because he was like, you know, I knew you was in an uncomfortable situation. I was going to pull up on y'all if he didn't back up, but I saw that you got it. Then they start getting like flirty and they're sitting on the couch. You don't have a conversation. You know, the vibes are great. Amina comes in and says, girl, the girls are mad at you. She's like, why? Simi, this girl that has a one-sided beef because Simi feels like Kiki is taking her power away because they do like 2 separate things for relationships. Kiki basically helps the girls to, you know the red flags with dudes, while Simi basically like breaks up relationships. And so she sees Kiki as a a competition where he does not see that. So Timmy basically took a picture for her bestie page of Malachi, and he kissed it and was like, this is y'all girl. So the girl is dragging her, they're unfollowing her. Amina's like, this is not good for us because I need to keep this for school, you know. And we lose a story about listeners, they'll cut our show off. And then that's when Kiki starts studying, like, oh my God, I cannot lose this because one of her favorite professors is like, I'll offer you an internship in New York City if, you know, for what you do for your radio station. So she's like, I can't lose this. Her and Malachi have like a back and forth, a tit for tat. She basically feels like he proved the point that he's an F-boy, but I think he's basically just doing it as he basically is like, okay, if you want to believe that that's what I am, then okay, I'm gonna make you believe that that's what I am. Like, so she's mad at him. She has a point a drink on his crotch, and then her and Amina, you know, go for brunch the next day, and that's when they see Kofi and Malachi again. And now basically Amina's trying to like force Kofi and Malachi to talk to each other. Not Kofi and Malachi, Kiki and Malachi to talk to each other, because Amina and Kofi kind of like have a thing for each other. Kofi's more upfront about it. Amina's more of like pushing and pulling, and you know, everybody's like, and you need to get that together. So that is basically what we're up to right now. And then also her professor wants her to work with like her competition of broadening out what she does with her radio station to help more for her to get into this program. So come to find out, the person who she needs to work with is Malachi. And then Amina wants Kiki to work with Malachi for the radio station, like I guess make like a fake relationship with them too, or something of that nature. And it's like the signs keep making y'all get together some way, somehow. So like you have to apologize for putting the drink on him and the whole misunderstanding between you two, so that y'all have to work with each other regardless if y'all don't want to. It's quite wild. So yeah, I'm very excited to read more of how those two develop, and also finishing parallel the Sawyers. So then obviously I don't want to rush through these books. I actually want to like enamor and enjoy these books, but yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed these. It doesn't feel like it wasn't 4 hours for y'all, but it was 4 hours for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one.